Mr. President, thank you for convoking this urgent meeting. Lithuania condemns in the strongest terms the invasion of Ukraine's territory by the armed forces of the Russian Federation as an open and blatant violation of Ukraine's independence, sovereignty and territorial integrity, and a serious blow to peace, security and stability across the entire region and well beyond. For months we have watched countless violations of Ukraine's unity and territorial integrity. First Crimea's annexation, then a war initiated by Russia-supported fringe separatist groups in eastern Ukraine, then provocative manipulations of humanitarian aid with semi-empty humanitarian trucks, then soldiers lost on the other side of the border, and now Russian forces on Ukraine's sovereign territory. Within the last day, as reported, troops from Russian 98th Guards Airborne Division from Ivanovo have taken over Ukrainian city of Novoazovsk. New previously safe areas of Ukraine have been affected, expanding the zone of conflict. I quote, "There are active soldiers fighting among us who preferred to spend their vacation not on the beach, but with us, among their brothers who are fighting for their freedom," says Alexander Zaharchenko, a rebel commander and a self-proclaimed prime minister of a non-existent Donetsk People's Republic, boasting in an interview on Russian state-run television, adding that there were some 3,000 to 4,000 Russians among the separatist ranks. A member of Russian President's Advisory Council of Human Rights, Ella Polyakova, said on Thursday she believed Russia was carrying out an invasion of Ukraine. I quote, "When masses of people under commander's orders on tanks, APCs and with use of heavy weapons are in the territory of another country, cross the border, I consider this an invasion," end of quote. Such actions by the Russian Federation are a gross violation of UN Charter, in particular paragraph 4 of Article 2, and other fundamental principles, as we have said at this Council many times before, and norms of international law, including the Helsinki Final Act, the 1997 Treaty of Friendship, Cooperation and Partnership between Russia and Ukraine, and the 1994 Budapest Memorandum, whereby Ukraine renounced its nuclear weapons in exchange for security guarantees. Specifically, Budapest Memorandum's Article 1 and 2 impose clear-cut obligations on Russia to respect the political independence and territorial integrity of Ukraine within its existing borders of 1994 and not to threaten it or use force by any means. Mr. President, by now this Council has held close to 30 meetings on Ukraine. We have heard numerous assurances by Russia here and elsewhere regarding its desire for a solution to the crisis in Ukraine. All this time, however, instead of seeking that solution, Russia has been escalating the situation as the flow of weapons, equipment, mercenaries and now troops continues across Russia's borders into the territory of Ukraine. Let us be clear, weapons don't fall into the hands of rebels out of the blue skies. Had it not been for Russia's continuous active support, the illegal separatists, a clear minority in the region they claim to represent, would have long ago run out of steam and weaponry. Eastern Ukraine would have been coming back on its feet, IDP flows would have stopped and reversed, no more lives would have been lost. Mr. President, this conflict has already claimed too many lives. Even moderate estimates show that there are over 2,000 killed since April. OCHA speaks about over 200,000 IDPs and around 3.9 million people affected by the conflict as of 15 of August. People are dying in Ukraine because of the criminal acts by the illegal separatists and their Russian supporters. Soldiers, citizens of Russia, are also now losing their lives in this criminal war against the state of Ukraine. As reported by various sources, the mothers of Russian soldiers are seeking answers regarding their children, at least 400 dead. Journalists who are trying to investigate and report on soldiers' graves in Pskov have been threatened and harassed. How many more lives need to be lost and maimed for Russia to realize its folly of aggression against Ukraine? Ukraine does not need more Russian humanitarian, so-called humanitarian convoys. Ukraine does not need more Russian tanks, troops, or rearmament of separatist bands. What Ukraine needs is a most urgent return by Russia to the internationally accepted norms of behavior, compliance with international law, and respect for the UN Charter, for which Russia, as a permanent member of this Council, bears a special responsibility. Lithuania calls in the strongest of terms on Russia to come back to its senses and to comply with the principles and purposes of the UN Charter, to immediately withdraw its military forces, weaponry and equipment from the sovereign territory of Ukraine, to secure its borders, cease shelling of Ukraine from the Russian territory, and to urgently end all support to the illegal armed separatist groups in the east of Ukraine. President Poroshenko's peace plan must be urgently implemented. As for the Geneva Statement, whose non-implementation is so often lamented by Russia, that statement, as well as any ceasefire, must be implemented by all sides, including the illegal separatists and including Russia itself. Anything less than that equals to a cynical demand for Ukraine's unconditional surrender. Like any sovereign member of the United Nations, Ukraine does have the right to defend itself as per Article 51 of the UN Charter. That right cannot be taken by anyone. Mr. President, for too long now we have watched Russia's creeping attack against Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity. And because it was happening one step at a time, our response has been like that of the proverbial boiling frog. Once international laws get so brazenly broken as they are vis-à-vis Ukraine, it would be naive to think that such disregard for international norms of behavior will stop at that and will not creep even further. Are we really ready to take such risks? I thank you, Mr. President.